Imagine if growing up you never had school on Fridays. Today, I will be sharing with you why the Kansas education system should switch to a 4-day school week. For the past year, I've opted not to have classes on Fridays, and personally have witnessed the benefits. A 4-day school week would be very beneficial to students. First, I will show that students are overly stressed. Second, I will explain how a 4-day school week could solve that issue. Third, I will show you how other school districts have benefited in taking this step. Firstly, I'll be showing you how students are overly stressed. Students often become overburdened managing school and work. Students who work are faced with little time for other activities, and it becomes extremely difficult to balance school, work, their social life, and how much sleep they're getting. One of these is usually sacrificed just due to a lack of time. Students who have less time for schoolwork student, students who work have less time for schoolwork regardless. Many students, because of that, often do not receive enough sleep, making the issue worse. According to the 2019 article, Is Your Teen Getting Enough Sleep? 73% Don't, Here's Why, by Leah Campbell, writer and editor, research has found that 73% of high school students regularly do not get a healthy amount of sleep. This results in the students often functioning poorly, resulting in more stress. After first showing you the clear problem at hand, second, I will describe my proposed solution. These problems could be greatly reduced locally if the Kansas education system switched to a 4-day school week. This would allow students more time for extracurricular activities and time spent with their friends and families. More plans could be made from 3-day weekends. There would also be more time available to relax. This would allow students to have more room to manage their time, reducing any potential stress. An extra day away from school is also an extra day to manage your time. That would allow students to prevent stress factors before they occur. This would also allow students to catch up on their sleep. They can sleep earlier with more time to complete their schoolwork and other obligations. And a well-regulated sleep schedule would lead to less stress as well. This could also have the potential to provide a better education to students. According to the 2019 article, 25 states are testing 4-day school weeks. Will yours be next? By teacher Elizabeth Mulvihill. Looking forward to a 3-day weekend each week leads to greater work-life balance for teachers, which leads to improved staff morale and a positive impact on what is taught in classrooms. A good morale is an extremely important factor in a learning environment. While doing this, it would also save money. Mulvihill goes on writing, in Duval County School District in Jacksonville, Florida, moving to a 4-day school week produced only a paltry-sounding 0.7% savings, but that figure translated to a budget reduction of $7 million. Now that I have shown you the current problem, and second, my proposed solution, finally I will help you visualize how this solution will aid the greater community. Finally, other school districts have benefited from switching to a 4-day school week. Here are some locations that have adopted this education structure. Heather Hansen, a doctor of education, in her 2017 dissertation, an examination of the 4-day school week schedule in select Minnesota school districts, writes, the 4-day school week is not a new cost-cutting alternative in the field of education. Madison School District in South Dakota implemented a 4-day school week as early as 1931. Mulvihill writes, research by the National Conference of State Legislatures estimates 560 school districts in 25 states have at least one school with a 4-day schedule. Leading the charge are Colorado at 55%, New Mexico at 43%, Idaho at 38%, and Oregon at 32%. If the Kansas Board of Education passed a bill for this, students would be most significantly impacted. There would be better education possibilities due to this. Cobre, New Mexico teacher Laura Brown, in the 2018 article, What This School District Learned from a 4-Day Week, by special correspondent Katvitha Cardoza says, I feel that extra day gave me the possible one day off to rest and recover as well. But it made my classroom and my teachings that much better because my lesson plans were better, more in depth. Teachers can dedicate more time to school as well. There's more time available for students to complete schoolwork overall, though. This would include their homework and studying for tests and all that. They have that extra day to dedicate that time. There's more time for personal activities as well. This would include sports, spending time with your family, or even catching up on sleep. All are very important. If the Kansas Board of Education passed a bill for this, families would also be heavily impacted. Families would receive more time together due to this. Hansen writes, although the 4-day school week began as a means for school districts to reduce cost and save money, the study indicated there were other advantages to the 4-day school week for both teachers and families, including providing additional time for teachers, lesson planning, allowing families more quality time together, and increased school attendance by students and teachers alike. Students would benefit being less stressed, happier, and more productive. Teachers have more time to get their stuff done for their lesson plans, and families and parents get to spend more time with their children. If a district switches to a 4-day school week, it may also impact the 40-hour typical work week. Families may transition to a more unusual but sometimes found 32-hour work week to spend that extra time with their children as well. In conclusion, I showed you why the Kansas education system should switch to a 4-day school week. Firstly, I showed you that students are overly stressed and do not receive enough sleep. Second, I explained how a 4-day school week could solve this issue. Third, I showed you how other school districts have benefited in taking this step. And I ask that you please take a moment of your time to vote on this subject at www.kansas_4day_schoolweek.gov/vote. Thank you.